Hey guys, Captain Jake. Uh, Today I'm going to do a little episode and I'm going to tell you guys a little bit about the Florida Keys and how you can use Google Earth to maximize your adventure down there. A lot of you guys out there on YouTube are a lot like me. You rent a boat or you got a little bay boat and you decided you want to do a Florida Keys trip. And so now you're scouring the internet looking for any kind of advice, opinions, and direction on how to go about it. I'm going to talk mainly about the lower keys down there, the Channel Islands, where we started out when we started out 10 years ago doing the same thing on Google Earth in our 20-foot Twin V. So you see me zooming in on these little coral patches just south of Big Pine. So these are easy to find on your map. You can play around with the YouTube, going forward and backwards and seeing where they are in relation to Big Pine, and you can find these same coral heads on your Google Earth, and then you drop a pin where you want to go, and there's your coordinates. Use the converter on the internet to convert them to whatever your style coordinates your GPS uses, the minutes and seconds and all that. Get all that stuff right, and then plug it in, and you can actually have those marked on your unit. There's lots of places to visit in the lower keys that anybody can do. You don't need a guide to do it. Looe Key is the first place you're going to want to go. Pick a nice flat day, depending on the size of your boat, and find Looe Key on Google Earth. Go ahead and drop you a waypoint on it. It's probably already in your unit, but drop your waypoint down there, and then head out that direction. It's 4 miles straight south of Big Pine, and you're not going to be able to miss it because there's going to be a lot of boats out there if it's a nice day. And the water temperature is warm enough to get in the water. Those snorkeling boats are going to be out there. They're big, and there's plenty of mooring buoys, so you don't even need an anchor. You go out there, find a mooring buoy, tie a rope to it, and tie up and jump in the water. You can get on the deep end of it and swim into the shallows, or you can start in the shallows and swim deep, depending on the comfortability of the people in your boat. And the lighthouse is another good spot to visit. You saw me just scroll past that. That's easy to find on the map, and you can head out that direction too. You can't miss it. That's visible from 10 or 15 miles away. These little spots close to land there's another little protected area here. I can't see the markers on here, but there's big orange markers on four corners of it. It's a pretty little spot to dive, real shallow water, and you can get everybody comfortable in the water by starting out shallow and working your way deeper, especially if it's y'all's first time down there. Everybody's a little nervous getting in the water, and just getting their feet wet and getting them out there and letting them relax a little bit before you throw them in 40-foot deep water is always a good idea, especially if it's a little choppy offshore and you want to stay a little closer to land. I'm kind of just zooming around to show you how close you can get in to these islands here, and how much detail you can see in the different areas. Here's Picnic Island. You can type it in Google and it'll take you straight to here. That's a great spot to visit. This is something you're going to want to do, in the evening to end your day. And you can take some sandwiches out there. Y'all can take the grill and cook on the island. There's going to be a lot of boats here sometimes, and sometimes you're going to have it all to yourself, depending on the season. But it's a cute little island. It got destroyed by a hurricane a couple years ago, so it doesn't look the same as it does in all these pictures. But, the visitors that go and visit these places are what make the places. You take your little sign with you and you nail it to the post, and you leave a little statue of a penguin on the island or something like that, and write your name on it, and everybody kind of leaves their mark when they go there in those kind of ways. That's what gives that island the charisma that it has. The amount of things that you can do down here in the Florida Keys is amazing, and I love that there's a lot of guys out there like me looking to go to these places. Snipe Key is another place you can punch into your into your Google, and it'll show you where it's at in the island chain. There's a cool spot that you're going to want to check out down at Snipe Key, especially if it's windy up on the Atlantic side. You can always sneak back around to the Gulf side and go and exploring on the Gulf side where it's in protected waters. If the wind's coming from the south, and you can go over there to the north side of the island, and you're out of the wind. And another thing that you're going to learn, is that tide and wind affects the visibility in the water a lot. When the wind's real bad, then it's going to have everything stirred up, and you're not going to have very good visibility. and then that incoming tide increases visibility too, because it brings that clear Atlantic water across the Florida Keys. And an outgoing tide, in my experience, is not as good visibility. So you catch high tide and you catch better visibility. And you can check your tide charts for your dates when you're going down there and get an idea of, when is going which direction. Here I'm just kind of zooming into the different little areas. You got the Cujo Key, Big Pine Key, Ramrod Key, Sugarloaf, Middle Torch Key, and they're all pretty close together. Summerlin Key is where we started our vacations down there. And I started using Google Earth just to kind of figure out where I was at in the canal. I'd find my house that I had rented, and then I'd look up the address, and then I'd find the address on my map app in my phone, and then I'd find the same house in Google Earth, and then I'd go to Street View to get an idea of what the parking situation looks like in front of the house. And you just learn to do those online research tools to where you can get, you can figure out what you've got. This is a cool spot. There's an island right north of the backside of Summerlin Key. You got to kind of go around the corner and come up the east side of the key. But you can anchor on either side of that little island depending on which way the current is, and snorkel all the way around that island. It's only about 150 feet long or so, and it's about 20 foot deep around that island. It holds big fish. You can chum and you can catch mangrove snapper there on a rough day, and there's lobsters and stuff, and there's even grouper hanging out in that deeper water around that little island. So that's a great spot to check out. Go and tie up, let the girls kick their feet up, take some pictures in the mangroves, throw out a live pinfish, chum some mangrove snapper, and just snorkel around and look underneath those mangroves. There's so many cool things, like 20 foot back underneath those mangroves is just a mud wall all the way to the bottom, and it's just full of holes and full of life. It's cool to look at. I'm trying to find these old little coral patches along this bank that I dive for coral. It's about 4 to 6 foot deep there, and there's a lot of little coral rocks in this little area, and they're not visible in this version of Google. But you can go on your laptop and you can look at the different years, and every year new pictures are taken, and depending on which way the tide was going and visibility, you'll see things one year that you may not see the next year. You'll see boats parked in good fishing spots, and you'll see coral heads whenever the water's it has better visibility that particular day they took those photographs. And now I'm going back towards Snipe Key. I spoke about it earlier, and I've actually taken this cut right here. I'm about to take you down using the map, and it's a cool spot to take the girls. There's another video of me from about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and we had a really windy week in April. We spent a lot of time exploring up through here, and it's just such a cool spot. The mangroves on both sides of you, the deep canals. It holds a lot of fish back there, and that's where everybody goes when it's rough. On holidays, that's Snipe Key. You'll hear them talk about it a lot if you follow the Facebook pages and stuff. That's where the guys are going to take you. If y'all fish the Gulf side and y'all come back in for a few drinks before y'all call it a day, they'll stop in at Snipe Key. And you can get there by going around the long way on the Gulf side, or you can use Google Earth to try to follow the depth contours using the watercolor. And now that's what I started out doing when I started out navigating down there. I had an old black and white, 5-inch Garmin, and I didn't have the colored screens, and I didn't have Florida Marine Tracks and all that fancy gear. So I had to use the depth contours to figure out where I was actually going. And this is my first video like this, just kind of a straight tutorial. But if you liked it, please just click the like button, and if you want to see more stuff like this, subscribe and comment down below and let me know what exactly you want to see. I don't mind putting this together and sharing this information with everybody. I'd love the feedback from you guys to tell me, what exactly you're trying to accomplish, because we've got a lot in common, and you're trying to accomplish a lot of the same things everybody is. And I can't always see the gaps in the intel that I provide to you guys, and if y'all ask the right questions, then I can put another video together just in a few minutes and give y'all some good advice and some direction, and maybe thousands and thousands of more people that are going to be Googling the same three keywords that y'all are Googling and trying to get the same information. So good luck. I hope you guys have a great vacation, and I'm always here to help. You can reach out to me on Facebook. My link will be in the description. Good luck, you guys. Hope you have a great trip, and let me know how you do.